well before legalized recreational marijuana hit dispensary shelves.
So when I came up here and I seen the plume of smoke, was that marijuana you were smoking?
I can smell it on you.
The Ohio Highway Patrol has been stopping drivers under its influence.
Since 2011, all of our troopers are educated and certified in ARIDE, which is Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement. So that is a detection of not only impaired driving from the result of alcohol, but also from drugs such as marijuana.
Am I gonna get in trouble for smoking marijuana?
You're allowed to have it, but you can't. It's like drinking and driving. You can't smoke and drive.
With you on that.
With legalized recreational marijuana available since early August in Ohio, the AAA's National Director of Traffic Safety worries that the public generally does not view it as dangerous.
Drivers, on the average, 94% view driving after drinking alcohol and reaching that point where they think they might be at or over the legal limit. They view that as very or extremely dangerous. Only about 68% of those motorists say the same about using cannabis and getting behind the wheel.
Well, that's a gamble just not worth taking. Not only do you run the risk of having a negative encounter with law enforcement while you're driving while impaired, you could really hurt someone or hurt yourself.
Last year in 2023, we saw a 3% decrease in fatal crashes on Ohio's roadways. And that's great, that's trending in the right direction. But unfortunately, we also saw a 4% increase in drug-related fatal crashes.
Like alcohol, state law does have a legal limit for marijuana metabolite in your system.
If you are planning to use recreational marijuana, most likely it's going to have more THC in it, a higher concentration of THC than medical marijuana would.
The AAA says studies have shown marijuana to affect virtually every driving-related capacity, with users driving slower, using a larger following distance. But the most consistent effect that will attract an officer's attention is weaving.
You actually almost hit me back there in the median, and we got a couple calls while you're driving, how you're all over the road.
In the simulator, what they find is that that one of the big pieces that gets affected is a person's ability to track straight, so that there's this weaving in and out of a lane. And you know, when you hear about a traffic fatality, often what is described is the person going across the median.
Any medications that can impair your ability to drive, because your eyes look a little glassy to me, you're erratic driving.
Those saliva tests are available and are being tested in Ohio. Police and troopers across the state still rely on standardized roadside sobriety testing as an indication of impairment, including from marijuana edibles. In Washington state, where recreational marijuana has been legal since 2012, statistics have shown the number of cannabis-related fatal crashes has doubled.
We went back a few times, 2 more times, to look at it again to see if it was sort of an artifact of the law and the novelty of cannabis being available for recreational use. And that trend persisted, even when we looked at 10 years of data.
And the concern is that the same will eventually happen in Ohio.
Even though it's legal, it's still illegal to drive impaired or get behind the wheel when you're impaired from marijuana.
I don't know what the statistics say, but do you feel that with legalized marijuana out there that more people are likely to get behind the wheel while they're stoned?
Yes, and the reason I think that is I think people believe that it's legal now, and so a little bit won't hurt me. But people need to realize that the potency of marijuana today is way different than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
So technically, you guys are operating a motor vehicle while impaired.
The message from the research is don't do it.
I am placing you under arrest for operating a motor vehicle while impaired.
Dave Nethers, Fox 8 News.